All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bulletproof Handyman business channel. I'm going to talk to you about red flags today. And red flags are behaviors that you might see from potential new clients that are going to let you know that you might want to consider walking away. And I do want to stress each of these individually is not necessarily a reason to walk away. It's only when you start seeing quite a few of them lumping in together that you might look at this client as potentially not a great client. So, in no particular order, let's jump into what some of these red flags are. Number one is going to be promising high-paying work or referrals to other high-paying clients in the future in exchange for a deal today. If they can afford to pay you well in the future, they can afford to pay you well today. And hypothetical future referrals are not money in the bank, and we don't need to give discounts for those. Number two is going to be when they insist that you come over and just take a look at something real quick, or that you come over in person to give them an estimate for every single teeny tiny job. Typically speaking, your time is valuable and you need to remain billable. So anyone who wants you to come over and just take a look at something, or anybody who demands that they get estimates, especially for small items, every single time you want to do a job for them, that's a waste of your time and that's a lack of respect for your time, which should remain billable. So set your company's policies as to when you will and will not come over and take a look at something for free, and then simply adhere to those policies. Number three is going to be when a client requests that you cut corners or hack work. Now, first of all, this may open you up to potential lawsuits in the future if you cut corners and hack work, and you can't prove that the client asked you to. However, even if the client did in fact ask you to cut corners or hack work, you still might be found liable in a court in the future. And then finally, your reputation depends on you doing solid work. So anybody asking you to cut corners or hack work is also asking you simply to risk your reputation, and that shows a lack of respect for you and your business. Similarly, number four is asking you or your business to do work that you are not legal to do. This can also open you up to legal repercussions in the future, and asking you to do so shows a genuine lack of respect for you and your business. So know what you are and are not legal to do, set your policies, and simply adhere to them. Red flag number five is going to be a customer going out of their way to inform you that they are making sure to get two other estimates so that they have three estimates total. Now, a lot of people actually are doing this, but when they're going out of their way to make sure that you're aware that they're getting other estimates, that is generally their way of letting you know that you need to come in with a super low price. And if you need to come in with a super low price, that means that they are price shopping rather than quality shopping. And you don't want people who are more concerned with price than quality. Red flag number six is going to be clients insisting that you heavily itemize your estimates. They want to know the exact cost of every single little detail. And once again, this is usually people looking to nickel and dime you out of whatever profits you're trying to make. And we don't want to prioritize clients who are more concerned with price than with quality. Additionally, it's going to take you extra time to do all that itemization, and they're not going to want to pay you for the itemization time that you spent. And as I said before, you do need to be billable for hours that you put into your business, and you can't be billable for itemization if they don't want to pay you for the itemization. So let's just steer clear of customers who are more price conscious than quality conscious. And continuing down that similar path, we're also going to classify as a red flag clients who either want receipts for all materials or clients who demand that they be able to purchase the materials for themselves. Once again, they may legitimately have a reason for being worried that you're going to try to screw them over on materials, but the bottom line is if they're demanding receipts for materials, or if they're demanding that they be able to go and purchase the materials themselves, 9 times out of 10, this indicates a client who is price conscious more so than quality conscious. Red flag number 9 is going to be clients insisting on helping. This is for a few reasons. Number one, a client helping you is not necessarily something that your insurance company is going to want to see happening with your business. So we really just don't need clients helping at all, just for liability purposes. Number two, most of the time when a client wants to help, they're also going to expect a discount for that help. And you didn't get into this business to employ your clients by giving them discounts for helping you. You got into this business to use your skills to bring in revenue for yourself and your family. And number three, a client wanting to help typically is going to slow you down more than it's going to speed you up. So not only are they going to want discounts and be a liability, but it's actually going to take you longer to do the job. And they're likely to nitpick the job itself all the way through if they're there helping you. So just kindly let them know that your insurance really doesn't want people helping you out on the job and that you're happy to take care of things for them. Now, number 10, and this is a bigger one, is going to be clients who refuse to pay a deposit for a job. And I will tell you, a lot of clients are going to consider your asking for a deposit to be a red flag. But that is absolutely industry standard for any legitimate business to ask for a deposit for a large job. But a lot of your clients are not going to be willing to pay a deposit. And if they're not willing to pay a deposit, I'm telling you right now, those are the clients that are also more likely than others later on towards the end of the job to not want to pay you for the actual job itself. When they pay a deposit, that invests them into the job early on so that they're also invested to get the job finished and to pay you. Number 11 is going to be absentee clients who, for some reason, are out of state and need to pay you with a cashier's check and have you jump through some other strange hoops. That's not to say that there are never such things as clients who actually legitimately are out of state, but 9 times out of 10, if you get contacted for a job and the client is out of state and they want to pay you with a cashier's check or some other strange form of payment like PayPal or something, just go ahead and walk away from this job. There's plenty of other work to do out there. Also, number 12, clients who are unwilling to pay for estimates. And now, there are lots of good reasons and times and places to do free estimates, and there are lots of good reasons, times, and places to not do free estimates. But if an estimate does warrant a fee and the client isn't willing to pay that fee, even with your promise that the fee will be reimbursed upon approval and acceptance and completion and payment of the job, even in that situation, if they're not willing to pay for an estimate, then chances are this is just a very cheap client. And again, we want to stay away from cheap clients. Now, number 13 is going to apply to a very specific type of property management company. And there are some types of property management companies out here where they want an estimate for every single job that you propose doing for them. And they want every single one of those estimates to be free. These are the cheapest property management companies. They are looking to exploit handymen, and they are always going to be the most price conscious customers you can find. Number 14 is going to be the as long as you're here clients. These are the clients that figure, hey, as long as you're here getting paid to do something else, can you go ahead and do this other thing for free as long as you're here? Guys, these are your cheap clients. They're never going to stop nickel and diming you. So just note that as one of your many red flags when you first start off with a client. If they're asking you to take care of a bunch of other stuff, as long as you're here, and they're not offering or willing to pay for you to do those additional items, then this is a cheap client that you're likely going to need to walk away from eventually. Now, number 15 is a little nuanced one that you learn later on in the game, and that is that you need to ask your clients when they're wanting an estimate for a larger project, you need to ask them what their time frame is for completion of this project. Anyone who's very serious about getting a kitchen or a bathroom or any portion of their home remodeled in a big way, anyone who's serious about that has an idea what the time frame is that they're looking to have that done within. So when you ask that question, if they don't have an answer to that question, it's because they're just window shopping and they haven't seriously considered spending that money yet. And similarly, for the next item is going to be clients who don't have a budget. Now, granted, they really may have no idea what something should cost, and they're genuinely hoping for you to give them some idea of what it's going to cost. But most people have already tried to go online and Google what does this typical bathroom remodel cost? What does a typical kitchen or basement remodel cost? Most people have gone and Googled most of the information and they have some sort of ballpark as to what would be a cheap price, a moderate price, or an expensive price for this remodel. And they should have some idea what range they're going to be in. So, once again, don't hold this against them if it's the only red flag that you see, but let this be one of many red flags you see if they don't know what their budget is going to be, even within a ballpark. And number 17, I've never actually experienced myself, but from a lot of comments from a lot of other handymen on this channel, they've let me know that they've had clients who asked them a lot of details about how they were going to do the job. And when I say details, I mean very clear specifics about what type of screw are you going to use on this? What type of wood are you going to use for that? Really specific questions might end up being somebody who wants to do the project themselves, but they have no clue how, and they've asked you out to give an estimate so that you can tell them step by step by step what's actually going to get done so that they can turn around and use your instructions to do the job themselves. As I said, this has never happened to me before, but I have had a handful of handymen on this channel tell me that this has happened to them. Number 18 is going to be clients who treat you like just a handyman. And I don't have any specifics for this one, but you typically know it when you see it and when you feel it. there are clients who view you as being just the lowly handyman. These clients are not going to be open to trusting you and to paying you what you're worth for a job well done. So if you don't feel respected by your client, please do go ahead and walk away. And number 19 is going to be clients that explain to you how fast and easy this job is, how they were going to do it themselves. It's really just this and it's just that. It's just going to take this much time and it's an easy job that they were going to do, but they just have a lot going on. These clients have already decided that the value of this job is very low, and you're going to be wasting your time trying to give them an estimate if your estimate is not going to be a super cheap estimate. And once again, we're not looking for clients who value pricing over quality. Number 20, clients who demand to know your hourly rate. Now, between you and me, we all have a value that we've assigned to our time. We all have a number below which we're not willing to go and do work for other people. But when a client demands to know your hourly rate, once again, they're going to be trying to watch how many hours you're putting into this job, and they're trying to find the most affordable route. There's nothing wrong with doing affordable work, but we are not looking for clients who value affordability over quality. Number 21 is also going to be for property managers exclusively, and that's going to be property managers who want to set your rates. Now, this may also be real estate agents or contractors, but this is going to be for business people who are trying to tell you in advance what they're going to pay you for the work rather than asking you what you're going to charge for the work. These are people who are price shopping just like the rest of them. Now, number 22 is going to be realtors that represent buyers. And I want to be clear, realtors who represent sellers oftentimes are very motivated to get work done because they need to sell the house and they're willing to pay a premium. But realtors representing the buyer are oftentimes just looking to get a discount on the purchase price of that home by showing some numbers about what it's going to cost them to get certain things fixed. So if it's a realtor representing the buyer, I personally always walk the other way. But if it's a realtor representing the seller, I actually run towards them because they are usually very motivated to get that work done. And then finally, number 23 is going to be clients who are always saying bad things about the previous tradesmen who have worked for them. If they're complaining about the painter and about the roofer and about the contractor and about the plumber and about the landscaper, if they have complaints about all of the other tradesmen that have ever worked for them, then guess what? They're gonna be a tough customer for you. They're going to have a lot of complaints for you, and they're probably not gonna want to pay you, or they're not gonna pay you what you originally bid the job for. So be very careful when somebody is complaining about all the prior tradesmen. And by the way, go ahead and take that as general life advice. Anyone you meet in life who's just constantly complaining about everyone else they've ever dealt with is probably going to be complaining about you when you're not around. So that's a red flag, I think, just for everybody in all situations for all time. Stay away from people who can't do anything but complain about all the other people. Now, that's the end of my red flags list, but I want to remind you guys of a few upcoming events we have. Number one is I do webinars every weekend for workflow in my Jobber software, where I just show you how I create jobs, create invoices, create estimates, etc. Just my general admin workflow. Number two, November 18th, I'm going to be in Denver doing a trade talks where I'd like to meet with any of my guys in or around Denver, Colorado Springs, the Colorado area in general, or anyone who can make it to Colorado on November 18th, where we're going to talk about the state of the trades and specifically the handyman business, but the trades in general in that general region of the country. We also do a lot of camping on this channel. I try to make it about every 6 weeks, so please do look in the description of this video or on my website or elsewhere, depending on when you're watching this video. But check out and see when the next campouts are. We do have many of them coming up. And more specifically, we have the Handyman Camping Convention coming up in June. And this is going to take place the weekend beginning with June 13th. Now, we may start this as early as June 11th, but it's at least going to be Friday the 13th, as well as Saturday and Sunday. And we'll probably actually start it on a Wednesday and end it on a Tuesday. But you guys are invited. All of these are free. And I would love to get to know you guys on a camping trip if you're available to come down here to Arizona, or if I ultimately am able to have them in some other locations as well. So if you guys have any questions or comments, if you'd like to chat with me about something personally, you can go ahead and email me at bulletproofhandymanbusiness@gmail.com. Otherwise, I love you guys. I hope you're out there killing it, and I'll see you on the next one.